This is Win FM. It's 2 minutes after 11 o'clock. And as promised, we're here for today's edition of Voices. And we've got a team from the Department of Gender Affairs, and they're going to be addressing the topic. It's a campaign that the department is undertaking, 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We're going to be talking about that. And the two members of the department are Shania Douglas and Saras Hendrickson. So we're going to go get a word from our sponsors, and we're going to come back and get right into it. And of course, we'll be taking your calls. You can send your comments. And some of you might be at work. You don't necessarily want your boss to know that you're doing things other than their work. You might want to send a comment, so you can do that on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And of course, the phone numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989. So come back on the other side and let's do this. Let's hear from our sponsors, Rams, TDC, and Flow.
You so happy?
I'm heading to TDC Financial Services for their worry-free Christmas promotion. They're offering up to $100,000 secured and $85,000 unsecured. It's everything I need to tick off my holiday to-do list. Renovating the house, getting gifts for the family, travel plans, and even back-to-school shopping. With TDC Financial Services, I'm getting ready for a worry-free Christmas. No stress, just joy. What about you? You joining me? TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
I want this and this. Oh, can I have?
Sure, we have an extra $600 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
Get it all with the gift of a free $600 MasterCard cash card. 2 free smartphones and free installation when you bundle Flow Mobile and Internet. That's the gift of free times 3. Get it all this Christmas at Flow. Bundle in store or online at discoverflow.co today.
Merry Christmas!
And we're back to start it off. It's 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. And once again, to introduce the team from the Department of Gender Affairs, we've got the director of the Department of Gender Affairs, Saras Hendrickson. She is director from Nevis. And we've got the gender officer of the Department of Gender Affairs from St. Kitts, Shania Douglas. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Okay, I can see that.
Good.
That was like a totally useless question because I could see you guys are doing fine.
That's good.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Right.
What is the agenda for today? And I mean, I know I have the theme here. It says you guys are doing a social media campaign.
Yes.
and it's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Let's get into it.
Right. So the theme for this year is push forward, invest to end gender-based violence against women and girls. So we're really here to continue this campaign, this awareness campaign throughout the Federation. And this is one of many events we have planned for the 16 days. So as you rightly said, I am from the Department of Gender Affairs Nevis in China. She's from the Department St. Kitts. And we do a lot of collaborative work. And this is one of those efforts. So we're really here to kind of get people in on the conversation, and we can take it from the conversation and we can have some type of action, how we can get everyone involved in this fight. 'Cause it is a fight.
And you know, big props to the both gender affairs departments, because we have the guys here all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's nice to see the two islands,
Yeah. Yeah.
agencies working together
Yeah.
like that.
We call them family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Tonight.
Well, yes. So essentially, I'm here today to just talk about the activities that we have coming up, what we've already started. As you know, the 25th of November would have started the day of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, as well as the annual observance of International Day of Ending Violence Against Women and Girls. So a lot is going on right now, but we could just get into it. Okay.
Be my guest.
All right. So I could provide a little background on what 16 Days of Activism campaign is. So the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an annual international civil society-led campaign. It commences on the 25th of November, which is the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, and it ends on the 10th of December, which is actually Human Rights Day. So that highlights that violence against women is the most pervasive breach of human rights worldwide. The campaign was launched by activists at the inaugural Women's Global Leadership Institute in 1991.
Right.
And from since then, it's mobilized individuals, organizations, including the United Nations and partners worldwide, to advocate for the prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls. So in support of this initiative, the leadership of the UN Secretary General, Antonio, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Guterres, I think. The United Nations Secretary Generals Unite by 2030 to End Violence Against Women initiative. So it's Unite. It calls for global action to increase awareness and galvanize advocacy efforts and share knowledge and innovations to end violence against women and girls once and for all. So like Sarah said, our theme for our local theme this year is push forward, invest to end violence against women and girls.
I noticed. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, just the so that is the local theme here. But I know for UN Women, they talked about every 10 minutes, a young woman or girl is murdered.
Yeah.
So in the world, which is actually
That's alarming.
Yes, it's very alarming. Like, I don't even have words for that, you know.
You know, so what I think is important for people to know is the genesis of this fight. And we have to go back to 1960 in in the Dominican Republic, where we had the Mirabal sisters, 3 sisters who were dissidents.
Yes.
They grew up in a family that did not want to be a part of the oppressive regime of Trujillo. He was the president then. So they led activism, secret activism and fight to done away with oppression. What happened is that they were imprisoned, the 3 sisters, they were imprisoned, and their punishment was to be clubbed to death and thrown over a cliff.
Yeah.
At that point, his government was already under international surveillance, so they were already looking for something to get him. When they saw this happen, they decided, you know what, it's time for us to go in and try to create some sense of normalcy. Then you did have civil societies then, mostly women-led civil societies. They have now banded together to ensure that they eliminate violence against women in Latin America. And from since then, they died on November 25th. And since then, annually, we have this global event
was
where,
commenced.
we had this global event where every country on this planet, they fight for this right for women to not be violated.
I gotta say big up to my Island Tea co-host because I didn't even know about that. She mentioned that yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? Yeah, but she told me about that whole. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. So we don't want people to just dive in and see this as a collection of events happening. There's history behind it, and there is passion behind it. I'm trying my best not to be passionate today. There's passion behind it because we hear a lot of conversations that men, they get violated too, which is correct. But when you look at women and girls on a far larger scale, every 10 minutes, every 10 minutes, a young girl or woman, she would either experience some violence against her body or death.
And it's really important to mention that the violence that occurs against these women and girls, the perpetrators are not often strangers. Right. They're usually by a partner or like by a family member. There's higher numbers reported by family members or intimate partners.
As is often the case with these violent acts, it's usually someone they know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One question I had, I noticed it's a social media campaign. Why that approach?
Well, since I'm fairly new to the department, I feel like social media is just something in this present time that's been very that's just what's happening right now. Everything is digital, and I just felt like in order to kind of appeal more to the public and the young people as well and relate to something that they're used to. I know in the past, like, we do more in-person things, but I feel like gender, as they say, isn't really a sexy topic. So I just felt like trying to engage people from a digital standpoint, or at least like in that way things can be shared, because a lot of the times people don't really know what gender affairs is about. They usually just refer to it as women's affairs, and they think it's just women that we help, but we also help men and boys as well. We have mentorship programs. So I just think that it was a good way to kind of get people involved, and they could actually see and be more aware and share around, okay, well, this is what gender does, which ties back, well, we'll talk about it more into the activities that, the online activities that we have available for the campaign.
And it's really a smart move. It's a conscious move too, because we're in the information age where that's how we're connected digitally. And then we do have the digital natives who we need to intercept. We need to get information in their face, because not everybody will want to sit in a forum like this and speak. They prefer to be in the confines of their homes and read a post or be updated on events. So yeah, it's really on our end too. It's a hybrid approach. We do social media campaigns, and we also hit the streets and do physical campaigns.
But just to be devil's advocate for a little bit.
Devil.
I take the point that social media it is a medium in which you can probably make something unsexy maybe a little more sexy, all right, and a little more relatable and whatever. But there's also, what do you say to the notion that most of the people who may not be engaged with social media, they tend to be older, and they have more let's say old-fashioned attitudes with respect to women and so on. So what would you say to that pushback?
So it's not entirely just online activities, but like I said, in the past, since we did mostly just in-person activities, and this approach has never really been done to this extent. Like we have coming up, we have a free advice legal aid pop-up clinic, which is in person. It's going to be in Sandy Point, held on 42nd Street. So we're going to have representatives on gender affairs. We're going to have a lawyer.
There's a street in Sandy Point named 42nd Street?
Oh, yeah.
That's the name
Very
of
popular,
the street.
yes. That's
Okay.
And they were going to have a representative from the Child Probation and Protection Unit, as well as someone from the National Counseling Center. So those would be like 3 people from our ministry, as well as like 2 people in law enforcement and legal aid that would be there to offer advice, any questions you might have based on circumstances. So we'll have like 2 tents, one separately for more more confidential situations, which will be mostly headed by the legal affairs. And then for our ministry, we'll have our own separate tent for like general information about what our ministry and departments do. So that way they could get everything right then and there. So for the people that aren't really as tech savvy, they can still come out and like get the advice that they want if they prefer face-to-face, in person, right on demand. So that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on December 6th. That's a Friday in Sandy Point, 42nd Street.
Yeah, and even on that note, to your question with the older demographic, they do have a totally different perception to us. On Monday, on this the initial day of 16 Days of Activism on Nevis, we had a chalk walk activity where we were at Jones Street in Charlestown. It's a pedestrian street. And we allowed the public who are passing through, the pedestrians who are passing through, to write inscriptions or affirmations or whatever perspectives they have on violence within the home, school, church, business place. And you find that the older women, they have a lot to say about protecting themselves and their bodies, right? About them being defensive. And they also had a lot to say about younger women, how they need to have pride in how they present themselves. So being there and hearing these different perspectives, it gives us some insight as to, you know, how we can be able to tailor programs best for our communities. And it's really good to be on the ground and hear these people speak. Though we may have an idea of the things that they would say, right? The delivery of what they're saying and the experience, you cannot make that up. So we do have forums where we engage the older individuals because they, like I said, they have a lot to share and they have a lot of experience that they themselves can, you know, teach us and help us with this activism.
It's like research gold, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, especially like you said, helping you to tailor the programs as you go forward.
And let us not neglect that what's happening right now, and in case you guys are aware of the WhatsApp scams and all that, right? Cyber abuses, cyber and financial abuse. We find that demographic from age 45 up, who may not be tech savvy, they're the ones who are almost always affected, because they're not aware of these schemes.
Oh God, what do they call it again? I'm assuming the domestic violence would also include that cyber shaming is what they call it, where you know sometimes guys would release nude pictures of
Revenge porn.
Revenge porn. That was the term I was trying to remember. Okay.
So all forms. It's not just physical abuse, emotional, financial, psychological.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta go to a break, but I don't know if you guys wanted anything to round off that part of the discussion before we go to the break. No,
we're good.
Okay. So we put a nice fine point on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we come back on the other side.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
SL Hudson and Company and the Caribou says to mark the date as Thursday, November 28th, you pay nothing at the gate when the legends Calypso 10 returns to the Melt Away in Buckley site. It was so nice, we're doing it twice. On stage, Lady Diva, Empress Lyrics, The Undertaker, The Ijo, The Invincible, Lady Correct, Westside, Lady Legacy, Lucius, Alamolu, Taz, Rico, and more. Master of Ceremonies, The Cutter, live and direct at the Meltaway. See you there.
She wake it up from the graveyard.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
'Tis the season of Christmas. We feeling festive for so. So you get 2 free smartphones when you sign up for a family postpaid plan with Flow. Choose a family essential plan and get 30 gigabytes of data. The family plus plan and get 45 gigabytes of data. Or the family max plan and get a whopping 60 gigabytes of data. With any family plan, you get 2 Samsung smartphones free. Get it all this Christmas at Flow. Sign up in store or online today at discoverflow.co.
From the time that you taste it, man, you know that it's greatness. Some ice in your cup, tell your friends link up. You know that we liming. Signal the bartender. No, we don't need chaser, but if you want, it could mix with anything. We drinking Stones ginger wine, the original ginger wine. We drinking like I said, Stones ginger wine. Greatness is forever.
(11:23), and we're here to continue our discussion. We're back to continue our discussion with the 2 gender affairs agents, one from St. Kitts, one from Nevis, one federation working in harmony. At least as far as gender affairs is concerned, that's a topic at hand.
We're here to lead.
That's so, ladies, let's continue.
Sure, I guess we can get into the other events that we had, and I guess those that we already covered. Well, for Nevis, right? Okay. So for Nevis, we kind of started on the 14th and the 21st. We had different events that we needed to usher in the 16 days of activism. Our approach here is we want to ensure that everyone is involved, so we could not leave our men out. November is Men's Month, so of course, men, we know that they are charged with certain responsibilities, and our expectation of them is to, lead the family and provide for that family. And they also have to have some stance when it comes to tackling gender-based violence. So we had a podcast on the 14th of November where we had a five male panel sitting within our conference room, and the topic was promoting positive male interactions, in the home, in society, in school. Also on the 21st, we had a National Men's Symposium. Men from St. Kitts also came over to Nevis. And
Part 2.
Let me tell you something. Part 2, part 1 was in July. So we had to have a part 2 because it could not finish that conversation in part 1. They were asking for more, so we prepared that one on the 21st of November. And I happened to peep into that room, and men have a lot to say.
Oh, yes.
It was good. They have a lot to say as it relates to their visibility outside of being financial providers.
And their voice.
They have a lot to say about being mentors. There are a lot of men that actually want to be mentors, which is really good, right? We did have support from the Premier, Matt Brantley, and also Minister Brand. He came through and he sat in on the panel, and that was a very fruitful discussion. So we also had a survey where we're going to get feedback from them. And again, from this survey, we are a data-run agency. We rely heavily on data, right? So from this survey, we're able to see, okay, now we can sit down with our men, and now we can really plan good, sound, strategic programs that really caters to their issues. So we ushered in that with 16 Days of Activism. On the 25th, like I mentioned, we had a chalk walk activity in the street of Charlestown, and we had our minister's address on the 25th. That's also ushers in today, ministers from St. Kitts and Nevis. And on the 29th, on Friday, this is a big one, a big plug, and we need the support. We have our rally, our street rally in Nevis. It starts at 1 o'clock from the Treasury Apron to the Villa Grounds, and we're calling everyone to come out, everyone from the faith-based organizations, from the NGOs, St. Kitts Department of Gender Affairs, they'll be coming over to join us. Yeah. We want everyone to come out and to chant and to lend their voice and to lend their expertise and their support in this fight. I've heard certain comments, what would writing on the ground do? What would marching do? It does a lot, it gets people involved. gets people talking, and it triggers a response. That's what we need, and it also spreads awareness. And on the 10th of December, we have what is called a Power Play Games Tournament, and that is a collaboration with Sarelli Productions out of Barbados. The founder is Ray Critchlow, and she came with an excellent idea where she wanted to have an indoor games activity with just women, 24 and over. There'll be 4 teams of 4, and they'll be vying for a cash prize, which is a lot. I don't want to say it now. So the indoor games, what the vision is for us is that we want to have this sense of solidarity and camaraderie around women, right? We want there to be a community of women where in the event that you feel alone or you feel lost or you're hurt or you're going through these trials of abuse, you have a cadre of women who you can tap into and then give you that support. So we want to end that campaign on a high note of fun and laughter and joy and support, because we need that. We have heard too many cases of women, they're crying out for help and they feel alone, though they're part of a family. They come into our institutions to get help. So we want to ensure that we give everyone in society that capacity to create their groups, that supportive groups for those who are abused.
Okay. I have 2 questions. The first one is, what's the approach you use with abusive men in trying to get them to change that behavior? And the second question is, this recognizes the fact that the rubber hits the road when a man hits a woman. Is there any self-defense component that applies, that you guys, let's say, try to foster or promote, develop for the women? Because let's face it, you don't want, but is there any kind of program where women can learn any kind of self-defense?
You guys had self-defense last year, right?
Yeah, in the past we did have a self-defense training class before, so it's been done before and could be explored in the future again.
Yeah, and last year we attempted a men's seminar for perpetrators or for men that may display aggressive behaviors. Because I think before we start, you have to admit that you've done something wrong, and you have to admit that you need help, right? And if anyone has ever got in touch or tried to interact with someone with aggressive behavior, it's kind of difficult to get to them. So once those men, they admit that, this is an issue that I need to work on, then we're open where we create that facility for them to come in and they be peered or mentored with other men that will help them through that process. We also do have counseling units. But we also know that when you hear counseling and therapy, that in itself seems like an ear sore to hear for these men to go to. So it is a challenge to get them to admit that this is something that they need to fix. And it's also a challenge to get them to come and to receive support and rehabilitation.
So you can't even get to first base.
So
in terms of at least...
It's a challenge to get to first base. Yes, it is. That doesn't mean we stop, though. We're persistent.
Yeah. I think the challenge lies in just like the culture as well of this and the stigmatization of men and like expressing their emotions freely and being open in general. Because a lot of men, they've been socialized to do the opposite. So it's, if you have years of practice not expressing yourself and emotion and being open, it's not going to be easy as just to show up and just start talking about it, because then there's the trust factor as well, and as well as the shame factor of am I going to be received? Is this going to be received well? How are people going to react? Do I need to trust these people? How, so it's just a lot of factors that go into it.
But if you got to first base, I still want to know. I mean, let's kind of set aside the fact that it's hard to even get them to get them to engage. What's the professional approach to trying to get men to stop beating up on women? I just wonder.
They go through counseling. Yeah, they go through counseling.
Tell me some of the approaches. I'm curious. I'm curious what it is. Some of the things that the men that they try to inculcate in the men to get them to break that behavior.
Yeah, so that would be the first approach. Like once we get through the acceptance that yes, I need help, then you go through sessions of counseling where it leads after that, there's nothing else in. There's nothing that has been developed for that.
I feel like a good approach might be to, like, that forum that you talked about, maybe specifically targeting like people who, like, if they acknowledge like certain issues within themselves, like they have anger issues, or like it's just the educational part as well. So if you do have a group of men that agree to come together and, you know, they've had a history of being an abuser, acknowledging, like trying to really dig deep into, okay, where do you think your anger is stemming from? And if we, you know, have a specialist in that area, and then really trying to explore and be educated on these things. Because I think when you're more educated, it gives you more of the tools to manage certain things better. Because then you could say, well, you know, they might have trauma, because just to start therapy, like they won't just get up and agree to start doing that. So it's really just coming, and it's almost like a consultation of some sort to say, well, I have this problem, you know, like I have a girlfriend, she might, like, I get into these things where anytime she does this, like I get ticked off, like it's one of those things where I feel like when you come to the consultation, it's something you have to explore and talk about, and then get the advice and navigate with those people. So I think it's just the navigation and trying to pinpoint where's this stemming from, for them to be able to see that how they could get to that level of acceptance to get to that point of counseling.
You know, to add to that, that is actually one of the objectives for the Men's Symposium, that we create this forum for you. You network with these men, and we're hoping that subgroups will come out of that. So that's why we have to have the aftercare talk after these symposiums. We reach out to these men and we ask them, okay, are you willing to be a community leader? Are you willing to have a support group of men that men can come in and tap into? You know, so it's right at this stage with men with aggressive behavior, it's a more preventative approach now. At that stage, like 30 years of embedded anger.
Is it easier to have men be the ones who trying to do the outreach to abusive men?
I think so. Because I think men respond more positively to other the male counterparts, because it's like a community.
It is.
It's a sense of community.
And familiarity too.
The familiarity, they would understand from a man's perspective better. So I think men would look at another man who's probably more skilled in that area, and they would feel more of a sense of understanding, relatability with that person. Because even for the part one of the Men's Symposium, the men strictly said, we don't want the women in the room.
Yeah, we had to be in a back room.
They did not want to see us, period. Even just to usher, they were like, we want our thing. We want
I get
our
this
own
sense
thing.
of discomfort when we're trying to serve.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of times men don't really get things for themselves. They don't really get things for themselves. They don't, like, when we have anything for women, they always say, oh, the women get the better things. The women get this. They pay more attention. They get the better space. They get the better catering, you know, that they get treated better. So I think maybe it would have felt more empowering. Because when we have a women's empowerment event, you see women all over the place. So I think maybe just having a space where men could just be surrounded by feeling, like I said, feeling that sense of community, like why men can be more involved, why men can be ushering, so we could show how involved and, like, you know, create a sense of cohesion in, like, this space, you know. So I don't know.
And I also think too that within that space there's no interruption of their thought and of what they're saying. They're not judged for what they're saying. Because if you've been in conversations between men and women, someone's always interjecting the other, or, you know, not giving the person the respect to share that point that they have to. And I think that was one of the main reasons why they didn't want women in there too. You know, I mean, from experience from the last symposium we had, one person, female, came in and asked, why were women invited? I said, it's not for you. It's for men. You know, we don't want there to be arguments. We want there to be healing. You know, we don't want any interjection when we're having these conversations.
Like a safe space just for them. Because they don't normally, I guess, get a lot of things.
Or when they do is either at a bar.
Yeah. So
barbershop.
Oh, barbershop, right? Yes,
sports, basketball.
Right. Yeah, men's club, golfing.
So even a male professional would have it easier than a female professional, like a professional, someone trained in trying to change these kinds of behaviors. So a male professional would be more acceptable than a female professional. Right?
And I think too, the male professional would know a man's plight. I don't know a man's plight.
Yeah,
I
like
can't fight a man's fight for a man. He would. I can support.
Okay.
But he would know.
Yeah, like I said before, it's just like I think they would be more receptive to someone, a male in a specific field that has that advice or could provide that level of consultation because
So whether it's a layman or professional, as long as it's
so
male,
once
probably
they could
okay.
relate to the person, I think it would make them create more of a safe space for them.
Okay.
I would like to talk a little bit more back into the campaign.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, like we said, on the St. Kitts side, it's a social media campaign, a more digital campaign. So we have a few online activities. So we have 3 online activities, and they're all partnered with a raffle. So essentially, the approach was to just gather information from the general public to learn about, their thoughts on different topics. So we have a survey. So the survey would have launched and opened yesterday, the 26th, at 9 a.m. These are all Microsoft Form based. So it's open, it's anonymous. So you don't have to be fearful of your responses. And you have to be 18 years or older to participate in the raffle. So, and the survey. So essentially, the survey is about the 16 days of activism. It includes information about gender-based violence. It asks you questions about domestic violence, as well as the services that the Department of Gender Affairs or the ministry offers, just so we could get an understanding of what do people really know about gender affairs? Because we get complaints all the time saying, we don't know what gender does.
It's women's affairs.
It's women's affairs. Y'all don't help men. So it's just to really get a small percentage of the population and seeing, okay, well, this is how many people are saying yes or no, they don't know what we do. How many people are familiar with the term gender-based violence and domestic violence and what they know they can do about it, the services that are offered, right? Yeah. The next activity we have, it opens tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's the gender myths versus facts poll. So that is on domestic violence. So it has a bunch of different myths. You have to figure out if it's a myth or a fact. And it talks about domestic violence, like the roles that a different gender might play in domestic violence, the rights of a domestic violence victim, stuff like that, what they think is accessible or available to them. And then we have a quiz on Friday that opens at 9 a.m. as well. So that quiz is on the Domestic Violence Act itself. So that's just to see, like, in terms of the legal sphere, how much people really know what their rights are and what their options are. So we can see, well, this small percentage, more people are saying that they don't know their rights when it pertains to this specific topic, or they don't even know that we have an act for domestic violence.
Yes, that's true.
So it's really just to see, like, okay, well, what do they know? Do they know they have these rights? Because I did go through a few of some of the responses for the survey, since that's what's open right now. And also people, there was a question, I think it asked about the services for a domestic violence client, what they think should be offered. People said counseling. And we have a free national counseling center. And I saw people like actually suggesting that. So it's really pinpointing what needs to be promoted more and what we should really target in the sense of trying to mainstream gender as a whole.
Okay, sounds good. If you're just joining us, joined by 2 agents from the Department of Gender Affairs, both St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinaya Douglas and Saras Hendrickson. If you have any calls, you can call us at 466-0989 and 662-0989. And, of course, you can send your comments to Facebook and YouTube. Also Twitch. Most people don't seem to know about Twitch. So
that's a young people thing.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question. In terms of, let me frame this properly. in terms of women, let's say, I think I forgot the framing of the question, but let's continue. It'll come back to me.
It'll come back.
I was tossing around some different framings, and I forgot the one I was gonna use, but I'm sure you guys. Oh yes.
Okay,
Also,
you got it.
I need it. No, this isn't it. This is another question.
Okay, I'm thinking.
It's another question I had. Tell me about give the social media, your social media handles and so on.
Okay,
And,
yes. So we just created a Linktree account. So a Linktree, if you don't know what it is essentially a link that allows you to tag all the links to everything else that you
At the
want
same time?
At the
Yeah.
same
Okay.
time. So it's one link. When you click the link, it takes you to a page that lists everything that you want to find in one space.
Right.
So the Linktree, the name is, if you put it into your search bar, is LINK.TR.EE/DEPT for department, gender KN.
Okay.
So again, LINK Link.TR.EE/DEPT gender KN.
Oh, so it sends it to both the Sankit and Nevis.
Yeah, well, I put it there
But
because
everything-
even
yeah,
if
that makes
Saros
sense.
wanted to share something, a link, I could
Yeah.
easily add it there as well. But right now we have listed the links to our Facebook page, the Ministry of Social Development's Instagram, as well as the links to the Microsoft forms as well for all the activities when they open. It has the flyer of the activities that we have coming up, as well as the flyer, the raffle flyer as well. So you could find literally all the information there.
I think you have the Gender Hub too, right?
Yes, so I also have the link for the Gender Hub. So our Gender Equity Hub there, it's just a channel. You can follow the channel. You can't send messages into the channel, and like nobody knows who anybody is in
Right,
there.
yes.
So you just get the updates whenever something is posted. It's really low effort. All you need to do is click follow. So the link is tinyurl, as in tiny tinyurl.com/genderhubkn. And there you could reach us on our WhatsApp, the WhatsApp channel, join the Equity Hub, and just be updated whenever something is posted there to stay in the loop.
Yeah, same for us. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Department of Gender Affairs in Nevis. All the links are there. Just follow, like the page, and you'll be up to date with what's ever happening on Nevis.
Okay, this is a good time to take a break. It's 11:44. Let's hear from our sponsors, and we're gonna come right back. So you guys just sit tight. We'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 Win FM. WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
I'm gonna have a worry-free Christmas, yes I will. I'm gonna have a worry-free Christmas, yes I will.
What's got you so happy?
I'm heading to TDC Financial Services for their worry-free Christmas promotion. They're offering up to $100,000 secured and $85,000 unsecured. It's everything I need to tick off my holiday to-do list. Renovating the house, getting gifts for the family, travel plans, and even back-to-school shopping. With TDC Financial Services, I'm getting ready for a worry-free Christmas. No stress, just joy. What about you? You joining me? TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
I want this and this. Oh, can I have?
Sure, we have an extra $600 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
Get it all with the gift of a free $600 MasterCard cash card. 2 free smartphones and free installation when you bundle Flow Mobile and Internet. That's the gift of free times 3. Get it all this Christmas at Flow. Bundle in store or online at discoverflow.co today.
Merry Christmas!
11:48. We're here to wrap it up nice with the two agents from the gender affairs departments of both islands, and you guys have 12 minutes to really drive home your message and once again apprise the general public of your mission.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I totally believe in collective action in order for us to get anything done. As a department, St. Kitts and Nevis, there's only so much we can do as a department, and we really do need community effort to come on board and to join in this fight against violence against women and girls. We are ensuring that every individual, man, woman, boy, girl on the islands, that they feel safe, protected, that their human rights are not violated. And yes, indeed, it is a fight. Yes, we do have legislation in place, but it's the attitudes of our people that really need change. We are aware that there are socio-cultural perspectives as to why violence happens, why men are the aggressors and women are the victims. It's about time we change that now if we really need to move forward in solidarity. I am inviting you guys on Friday, 29th November, this Friday coming up in Nevis at 1 p.m. to join us in this walk, chant, fight, rally of activism against gender-based violence against women and girls. It's not time for us to be quiet, not time for us to be silent, time for us to push forward. If we are any example, the Departments of St. Kitts and the Department of Nevis, if we're any example to anyone of what collaboration does, it gets a lot of things done as small departments. I have a department of 5. I think you guys, how many? 6? If that much. And together we get a lot done. Can you imagine a whole society approach?
I can tell with Deanna.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me. The one from Nevis.
Yeah.
Deanna. What's his name again?
Mario.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say Marco. I don't know where that came from. I was thinking Deanna and Marco. Marco, yeah. That's the name.
Okay.
Yeah. Mario. Okay.
Yeah, so we need the society to come out. We need families to continue to work on your social bonds, ensure that your members are safe, instill these values into your children, because a broken family creates broken people, broken societies. This has to stop. It is a cycle. No amount of social assistance program is going to do anything until we tackle that first agent of socialization, the family. We need to go back to those values where we instill morals and we instill these bonds within the individual of our societies. Once we do that, I firmly believe that we're going to see a decrease in all of these violent crimes and violent and abusive behaviors.
Shania?
Yes, just to piggyback off of that, I think it's just a time now where I just think there's no real excuse. Like the United Nations or UN Women would have said it in their theme. It's hashtag no excuse.
Right.
You know, no excuse for the lack of investment in such, you know, a really prevalent issue right now. Because right now I think that this theme, it does a great job at focusing on how much we need to invest in the preventative measures, the stronger legislation that needs to be done, the investment into accessible services for the survivors of domestic violence, as well as the training for people in those spaces to better address gender-based violence as well. And not just investment into the tangible or the training or just the legislation, but the investment of the people, the general public, the investment of their time to educate themselves about the issue as well. So investment is not just money, but the time and the passion into wanting to learn more about this topic.
I remember the question I wanted to ask, and I want both of you to take a stab at it.
Stab.
That's a terrible.
That's a terrible term.
Yeah.
Take that pun out.
I know. I was just thinking. The minute I said it, I said I can't do this. That's Given the topic is terrible. Anyway.
Yes.
How do you guys convince women, and how difficult is it to convince women that, you know how the statistics say that a lot of times abusive men often end up killing the woman at some point. The terrible climax of that whole relationship, they sometimes end up getting killed. And I imagine it would be difficult. I imagine it's difficult to, impart that information to some women, some abused women, in spite of all they're going through. Yeah. There's always the denial and the defense of the abuser. It's, no, he would never kill me. I mean, he loses his temper, but how do you guys deal with that? I mean, how do you get them to see reason and realize that you might very well lose your life? You might not see it that way, but this is what the statistics say. How do you guys deal with that?
This is as recent as a conversation I've had with one, and the responses are, he's my child's father. My children need their father. I can't leave. Despite being near death, I can't leave. You have to be really trained in sensitivity when you're speaking to people who are affected. Because when you're in that space, you want to leave, but you can't leave because there's no safe space for you to go. Right? So the safe space that you know is that space that gives you accommodation, is the house. So you would go through whatever abuse you'd go through within that home. What I found works is when you hit them with the truth. You can't sugarcoat certain things. You have to say, if you stay there, you will die. If you stay within that relationship, you will die. Your kids will not have a mother and your kids will not have a father. The best bet for you is for you to ensure that you protect your children yourself by moving out of that space. Now, in saying that, they're going to ask, then where do I go? I know over here you have, there's the...
You have shelters.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Right. We don't have any reset houses. We don't have any halfway houses in Nevis.
But then couldn't they come over? I mean,
they could come over.
Yeah, they can come over.
But
they can come over.
The thing about the shelters, though, they're only temporary.
Yeah.
And they're provided by NGOs, not by our ministry. So it's not like it's the government doing it.
It's like the one run by Etsu Bradshaw, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another one.
Oh, it's another one.
I have to put this plug in why NGO capacity building it should be on the forefront of our agenda, because we need groups to come together and tackle these issues, because there's funding out there for that. Tackle these issues and create these institutions, these safe spaces for these women to go into. Because as it stands right now, what are you going to say? What are you going to say to a woman who's in love with her abuser? You can say all the nice things. You can even give her the truth, but it rests in her decision whether she wants to move or she wants to stay.
Well, for me, it's interesting because I just had, well, at the Department of Gender Affairs in St. Kitts, we do have a rehabilitation program for domestic violence survivors. And I just had a conversation with my group earlier this morning. And one of my clients, they were talking about their progress because we ended off the program today. But she talked about what is, like, why certain things affect her, or like why she didn't really have the tools or the information that she has now since joining the program. So I think she was grateful for the information because she wanted to know, well, why didn't I just look up, certain things before to get the answers that are needed? And I had to explain to all of them. I said, because you weren't thinking logically.
No, you weren't.
When you affected or you're in a space, especially that causes so much emotion,
Right.
Emotion will cloud your judgment.
It would.
And you will only be able to operate at a certain level, not at the level you would be accustomed to.
Right.
I literally have to say, okay, if you're in a situation and your partner went on a certain way with you or did something bad to you, you think the first thing you're gonna do is go on Google and ask why did he do
this to me? No.
You're not gonna be doing that. You're gonna operate through your emotions, and survival mode. You're going to be trying to navigate, how do I even get out of this situation? Like she said, one of the answers that you usually get is, that's my child's father, or I have children. But the people don't understand that. They say, oh, well, why she keep going back? Why she keep going back? There's a lot of factors as to why people going back, not just because they love the person, but children, it might be a case of religion. That might be something that they might be fearful of the family turning their backs on them because it's against their religion to do certain things like that. There's shame associated with it. People just think that it's just, they just have low self-esteem. But no, there's different factors. Maybe they're not financially stable.
Right.
Maybe
Most
they don't
cases
even
they're not.
have any other family members that are currently alive that could help them or live out of the country. You never really know. You never know. Each situation is unique.
Especially if you're an immigrant living.
I was just about to say
living in the
that. Like, if
Federation.
you're an immigrant,
Your family is not here.
and your family not
So you're
here.
trusting
So
in
now
these
it's like,
agencies.
what do I do? Because even if I do make this step to try and get the legal support, they might realize I'm undocumented, and I might get shipped out, and I don't even know what to do after that. So it's just like the lack of finances. They breaking up the family. They're breaking up the family. So especially if the man is the breadwinner of the household. So it's just a lot of factors that go into that.
Yeah, it's a lot more why she didn't leave or work it out with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Keep going, lady. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. So it's just a lot of factors, like I said, that go into that. Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's just a lot of factors that go into that. That people don't understand and they don't consider, and people are either afraid or they react negatively to things that they don't understand once they're not educated. And provided if you have more education about it, you'd be able to relate to it more or come from a place of understanding and being more empathetic, not just sympathetic, but empathetic, so that you could really imagine what it might be like to be in that person's shoes,
One of the things I wanted to do, and we're going to continue until, because they're not quite ready in the news.
Okay.
I need you to give maybe there might be helplines for both islands for women to call discreetly and so on. I need you to give those numbers and so on.
Yes, so for the Department of Gender Affairs in St. Kitts, the hotline is 765-5492. So that's 765-5492. That is our domestic violence hotline.
And you can call 469-5521 extension 6750 for Department of Gender Affairs, and we'll connect you.
Okay. So are you going to commit to setting up a system where someone from Nevis can be facilitated in St. Kitts at the shelter?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
I was just half teasing you, but I know you're serious. I know this is serious business. But
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right. Okay. So you guys have about 3 minutes to wrap up.
Okay.
So you can decide who's gonna go
I
first.
could wrap up. So
the last word. Yeah.
yeah, I'll just mention, so like the raffle again. So tomorrow we actually open our second online activity. Our first one opened yesterday was the survey, the 16 days of activism survey, gender-based violence. Tomorrow it's going to be the myths versus facts poll on domestic violence. Excuse me. And then on Friday it's going to be the Domestic Violence Act quiz. They all open at 9 a.m. and then they will all be open until the Monday, so I think that's the 9th of December, and they close at 11:45 p.m. You must be 18 years or older to participate, and you have the chance to win prizes from, and this my sponsors. Yes, so the sponsors are Sassy V Collection, Crazy Rose Ice Cream, Alteoa LLC, Pure Niceness by Winiel, Caribbean Cinemas, Espo Water Solutions, Best Way Pharmacy, and Bougainvillea Books and Gift Shop.
Solid. Okay.
And please, any way you can help out, if you want to have a discussion, formation of your groups, feel free to contact us at the Department of Gender Affairs, Nevis. We're here to do the work. We're ready.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, ladies. Yeah, that's it. We got headline news coming up next, and you guys know that you are welcome whenever you want to come by, because we have Dion and Mario here. Marco. No, just kidding. We have Dion and Mario here all the time. I've had them about 3 times a year already. So
We'll be back.
Okay, and I had the pleasure of meeting Trinaya a few months ago. Okay, so on behalf of the general public, I know they appreciate all the great things you guys do to make St. Kitts Nevis a better place.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Headlines is up next. It's 3 minutes after 12 o'clock. Do apologize for the slight lateness in the news, but it varies from day to day depending on how busy the news environment is. So here we go to the headlines.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, National Bank, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Why wait for Santa when there's National? This Christmas, St. Kitts Nevis and Willa National Bank has just the right loan solution for you. Get up to $100,000 unsecured for all your holiday shopping needs. New furniture or carnival expenses with low interest rates, quick approval, and flexible terms. And that's not all. You can drive into the holidays with National. Whether you're buying a new or pre-owned vehicle, National has a loan for you. Get up to $160,000 with low rates, special discounts, and little to no input. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with National Bank. Apply online at www.sknanb.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the WinFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories. PAM leader addresses international suggestion for urgent need for tax reform. CARICOM moving forward with arrest warrant and treaty legislation. Credit to private sector in Guyana grows by $150 billion. Internationally, Imran Khan supporters call off protest after crackdown in Pakistan. Now the details. St. Kitts and Nevis is experiencing a confluence of ideas aimed at reforming its tax system, which has come to the forefront following recent remarks from key political figures and international organizations. The leader of the People's Action Movement, PAM, Natasha Gray Brooks, expressed her vision for tax reform during an interview on the Inside the News program on WinFM on November 23, 2024. Her comments suggest reassessing the nation's reliance on the citizenship by investment revenues and exploring sustainable alternatives to bolster the economy. Gray Brooks articulated the pressing need to reconsider the existing tax structure in her interview.
If you're going to reintroduce some level of income tax, it has to be at a tiered system and it has to be in a particular category of income earners, because our low income earners, they already feel that they're struggling.
This plea highlights the significant economic challenges many citizens face and suggests that any reformation should carefully consider the potential implications on various income brackets. The PAM leader underscored the importance of involving political parties in budget consultations, noting,
"One of the things that I would have liked, and I mean, it's probably too late, but I will have a discussion with our lone parliamentarian. One of the things that I would have liked is that the People's Action Movement would have been invited to the budget consultation so that we can give our input on certain things, we can be privy to certain information, so that it's not just thrown at us when we have the budget debate. Because even though we are not in government, we do have solutions. They may not be all. We may not put forward all the solutions that maybe the government might like or appreciate. But we can think sensibly. We can think logically, and sometimes you require somebody who's actually not boxed into that circle to be able to show you things objectively. And I think going forward, that is one of the things that any administration needs to look at.
The call for inclusivity aims to foster a more collaborative approach to governance, allowing for diverse perspectives and solutions to emerge as the country grapples with economic pressures. At a recent press conference on November 21st, 2024, Julie Kozak, director of the IMF's Communications Department, discussed the International Monetary Fund's strategic recommendations for enhancing economic resilience among small island nations like St. Kitts and Nevis, emphasizing the critical need for comprehensive tax reform. The IMF has identified structural vulnerabilities within the current tax system, which heavily relies on CBI revenues. COSAC noted that such dependence could pose risks in fluctuating global economic conditions. Implementing a more progressive tax approach could alleviate these vulnerabilities while promoting fairness, eliminating the inefficiencies and distortions caused by specific tax concessions, and potentially leading to more significant equity and efficiency within the tax framework. In discussing potential tax adjustments, Gray Brooks remained focused on ensuring that alterations would not disproportionately affect lower-income households. She observed that a new tax would need to be carefully calibrated. The PAM leader emphasized that the government has access to data on income earners through Social Security, allowing for a more informed approach to potential tax reforms.
Any increase in taxes or introduction of taxes, it has to be on a proper assessment of our income earners. The government has this information at its disposal from Social Security in terms of the amount of persons who are in a particular bracket. You look at that. You look at what your revenue has been for a particular period, maybe over the past 10 years, over the past 5 years, and see if this is possible. If it is possible, who we can attack, so to speak. Who can be the persons who would have to now feel an added squeeze? Because right now, certain persons can't take anymore. In fact, a lot of persons are operating in the negative on a monthly basis. So for them to learn, let's say December, that from effective January 1st or 31st, you're going to have to find an extra $5 somewhere.
Amid the ongoing discourse, concerns have also arisen regarding the government's ability to maintain current tax levels without overburdening the populace.
Persons still have to live. They still have to put food in the mouths of their children.
Gray Brooks noted, referencing the struggles faced by everyday citizens trying to manage expenses amidst rising costs. She further critiqued the notion of temporary tax relief initiatives such as VAT reduction days, suggesting that such measures fail to address ongoing financial pressures throughout the year. Various discussions involving political leaders and international organizations echo the necessity for a significant overhaul of the approach to taxation in St. Kitts and Nevis. As the government seeks pathways to greater economic stability, the call for diversified revenue streams could help minimize reliance on CBI programs, which, while impactful, harbor inherent risks during times of economic fluctuation. The dialogue surrounding tax reform seems likely to remain a central theme as stakeholders continue to advocate for more balanced and equitable economic framework. The conversation, led by figures like Natasha Gray Brooks and reinforced by Julie Kozak from the IMF, spotlight the critical intersection of policy and the everyday lives of citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, revealing a community striving for resilience and sustainable growth.
In regional news,
CARICOM is moving forward with legislative power to arrest crime throughout CARICOM countries. Caribbean community arrest warrants and treaties are expected to make it easier for law enforcement to find criminals and suspects who try to hide out in other jurisdictions. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, oversees crime and security issues in the CARICOM grouping. The long-awaited plans were disclosed during a recent workshop in Guyana on worsening violent crime in the region.
I have been advised, if you will accept that phrase, that the legislation to facilitate the harmonization of laws across the community have notably facilitated the completion of the template legislation for the CARICOM arrest warrant bill. I am particularly pleased to hear that we are there.
The legislation to be implemented would be harmonized, meaning that it would be broadly similar, if not the same, in all 15 member states of CARICOM.
Our little criminal punks must now know that every CARICOM territory, the law applies to them equally with respect, well, as soon as we implement the laws, that with respect to warrants for their restraint, apprehension, in anticipation of successful prosecution, that there are no safe harbors in any of our Caribbean territories.
There's another bill that's intended to enable cross-border cooperation in crime fighting.
Passenger information and passenger API and passenger name record PNR bill, both of which provide a foundation for efficient cross-border cooperation. I understand that significant progress has been made there, or completion can be announced in anticipation of the work that we will do with those developments.
PM Rowley said a Caribbean gang database is also being developed as an important resource for law enforcement agencies across the region. He urges police management leadership across the Caribbean to cooperate and collaborate to identify known bad actors before executing their plans for a more effective response. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Credit to private sector in Guyana grows by $150 billion, Guyana News source reports. CARICOM moving forward with arrest warrant and treaty legislation. Grenada Broadcasting Network has that story.
Credit to the private sector grew by $150 billion since the end of 2020. Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, has revealed. He made that disclosure while addressing the World Trade Center conference on banking made easier. The finance minister said the growth in credit to the private sector by the commercial banks in Guyana is simply phenomenal.
From the end of 2020 to end June 2024, total credit to the private sector grew from where it was at end 2020 at $260 billion at the end of 2020 to $410 billion at the end of June 2024. That is, in absolute terms, over the period from end 2020 to June 2024, an additional $150 billion of credit provided to the private sector by banks in Guyana.
Dr. Singh said the figure represents a 58% growth rate in less than 4 years. It was pointed out that credit to the private sector in the area of agriculture grew by 19.4% in 2021, 15.5% in 2022, and 14.7% in 2023, while private sector credit in the area of manufacturing increased by 27% in 2021 to 36% in 2022, and a further increase of 15.8% in 2023. Similar increases were recorded in the services sector, with credit to the private sector growing by 16.4% in 2021, 15.8% in 2022, and 12.9% in 2023. Among the banks performing exceptionally well is the Marara Bank Limited, according to the Minister of Finance. He said in addition to improving the accessibility of its banking services, the Marara Bank has expanded its credit portfolio. The Chief Executive Officer of the Marara Bank, Daulat Parbu, said his bank entered the banking sector at the time when access to credit by the private sector was extremely difficult. He said 30 years later, the Marara Bank is one of the leading banking institutions in the country, with its credit portfolio increasing by 34% in just 12 months.
Report that DBL is leading Guyana's credit growth. Our lending increased over the last 12 months by 34%, a growth of 24 billion Guyanese dollars, the highest in our history and the highest in the industry. This lending contributed to 38% of total lending done by the banking system over the last 12 months. That is, total lending done by all 6 commercial banks operating in Guyana for the last 12 months was 64 billion, and the Marara Bank contributed 24 billion out of that 64 billion.
According to the CEO, his bank is now the second largest lender in the country, with the second largest capital base. The bank can lend up to $11 billion to a group of companies and $6.9 billion to a single entity. He said the Marara Bank is the only bank in Guyana and in the Caribbean with zero non-performing loans. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Marara Bank, the Marara Distillers Limited, and the World Trade Center Georgetown, Kamal Samaru, said the forum represents a 360-degree perspective of one of the critical factors of growth, banking services, at a time when Guyana's economy is recording phenomenal growth. Mr. Samaru said the Marara Bank is the only bank in Guyana to be born out of the womb of the private sector, and therefore understands the struggle and aspiration of Guyanese businesses. He said the bank has consistently tailored its products and services to meet the needs of Guyanese businesses. Mr. Samaru said, like the Marara Bank, the World Trade Center Georgetown intends to play an important role in the development of businesses in the country.
The World Trade Center Association, the World Trade Center Georgetown, intends to play an active role in helping Guyanese businesses, especially small and medium businesses, to promote their business internationally, build business connections, access markets, know-how, and best practices to facilitate the growth and expansion of their businesses.
A number of officials in the international banking sector and the local banking sector attended the conference today.
We now bring you these international reports.
Opposition supporters in Pakistan have temporarily called off days of violent protests, demanding the release of the jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Police have arrested hundreds of people overnight after deadly clashes in Islamabad. More than a dozen people were killed, most of them civilians. In a social media message, Mr. Khan had urged more people to join the protests and fight to the end. We can now speak to Azaz Saeed, who is a journalist and author in Islamabad and has been at these protests day and night for the past 3 days. Thank you for joining us on BBC News. So just talk us through what it's been like during this protest, especially last night when so many people were arrested.
Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, it was like a turmoil for last 3 days, which ended in the wee hours today in the morning. You know that Pakistani police and rangers, they have launched an operation in Islamabad, and they have arrested almost 800 people in 2 days. Today in the morning, they have arrested hundreds of people. During this operation, Bushra Bibi, the wife of Mr. Imran Khan, and the Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the province which Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, founded by Imran Khan, is controlling. So they fled. They left the protesting point, and they left. When they left, all the protesters, they dispersed, and meanwhile police also made hundreds of arrests over here. But there is no confirmation yet that in today's operation, when police was arresting people, somebody died. At yet there is no confirmation. Nobody has died at yet, because Islamabad and Rawalpindi hospitals report no casualty. They have received no dead body yet. But yeah.
Yes, Azaz, just talk us through what happens next, because the protests have been stopped for the time being, but Imran Khan is still urging people to take to the streets. So what happens next?
Well, this is the basic question. The protest is over, but the controversy and the problem is yet not over. If you see the previous track of Imran Khan and his party, they continue to give calls of such kind of protests. Previously, they have given almost more than 12 calls within 1 year. If you talk about their style of politics in Pakistan. So it seems that Bushra Bibi, the wife of Imran Khan, she is back, and she couldn't succeed, although they had called that this is a final call for the protest. But it seems that it will remain like this. There won't be an immediate call for the protests any soon, but after some time they could give a similar call after some time.
And briefly, Azaz, how influential is Imran Khan in Pakistan's politics? He was incredibly popular, but he's been in prison now.
No doubt about it that he's influential, but at the same time, we also see that his influence is diminishing in this sense that he is behind the bars, and his politics is being run now by his wife and the party leaders. So the way he wants to do politics, he can't do it directly since he's behind the bars, and this was an attempt to get him released, which his party failed. They were offered for negotiations. Some negotiations were carried out as well. But at the same time, when they opted the path of violence in many ways, so that resulted in a failure.
Well, following the decision by the US and the UK to allow Ukraine to fire long-range missiles into Russian territory, President Putin announced he was lowering the threshold for the potential use of Russia's nuclear weapons. Well, now for the first time, a Russian military officer who served inside one of Russia's top-secret nuclear bases has spoken out. The man fled the country after being threatened with deployment to the front line in Ukraine. Our correspondent Will Vernon went to meet him at a secret location outside Russia.
Russia likes to put on a show of its nuclear capabilities. On state TV, Britain is regularly threatened with atomic annihilation. But the question keeping Western politicians up at night: would Putin really push the nuclear button? This man worked on the inside. A former officer in the elite nuclear forces, he was stationed at a top-secret base in Russia.
The troops are there to either repel or carry out a nuclear strike. There's a very strict selection process. There are constant checks and lie detector tests. It's a closed society. There are no strangers there. If you want your parents to visit, you need to submit a request to the FSB security service 3 months in advance.
To protect Anton, we're not revealing his location or his identity. He showed us documents which confirmed his story, as well as details of his service at the nuclear base.
On the day the war started, we were put on full combat readiness and shut in the base. The weapons were fully in place and we were ready to the maximum extent. The state of alert was cancelled after 2 or 3 weeks.
Part of Russia's nuclear arsenal dates from the Soviet era. Some experts say it might not even work.
That's a very simplified view from so-called experts. Russia has an enormous arsenal and a huge amount of warheads and constant patrol on land, sea and air. The weapons are fully operational and battle-ready. Maintenance work never stops, not even for 1 minute.
Obviously, you know secret information. How concerned are you that the Russian authorities might try and track you down?
The FSB, the Interior Ministry, local police, they're all looking for me. I realise I could be kidnapped and taken to Russia by plane. Now, I try to help other soldiers to flee. I understand the more that I do that, the higher the chances they could try and kill me.
Human rights groups say the number of Russian soldiers fleeing the war is increasing, and the Kremlin will be increasingly nervous about people like Anton speaking out. Will Vernon, BBC News.
So we begin in Lebanon, where after months of all-out conflict, a ceasefire appears to be holding. More than a year of bombardment by the Israeli military has forcibly displaced 1.2 million people, mostly from southern Lebanon. Many of them are now returning to their homes. There were celebrations when the ceasefire came into effect at 4 a.m. local time. The US President Joe Biden making the announcement, calling it a permanent cessation of hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah. Just ahead of the deal taking effect, Israel bombed southern Beirut once more with some of the largest air raids of the conflict. Since October last year, the fighting has taken a heavy toll on civilians. Israeli attacks in Lebanon have killed around 3,800 people, while across the border in Israel, 129 people have been killed. Zena Hoda begins our coverage from Nabatia in southern Lebanon.
Well, tens of thousands of people are making their way back to their homes, at least if they still have homes. Wherever we went, every street corner, there was destruction. We were in the center of Nabatieh city. Neighborhoods were leveled to the ground. And now we also managed to reach the army checkpoint along the Litani River. Now, south of the Litani River is where the Lebanese army is supposed to deploy. We saw a line of cars waiting to make their way to border villages. They were not allowed to proceed any further. The army was preventing them because Israeli troops were still positioned in some areas. So wherever you go, wherever you look, you see destruction, but you also see, people returning. For them, this is a victory, the very fact that they've been able to return to their homes. But we've also met some people who stayed behind and who really described to us the horrors that they faced. And, a minority stayed in Nabatieh, and they were saying that they lost everything, their life savings, shops destroyed, and they're asking who is going to pay for this reconstruction bill. This is a state that's nearly bankrupt.
Well, let's get more details on the ceasefire now, which includes an initial 2-month halt to fighting. It states that Hezbollah will not operate as a military force between the Litani River and the Blue Line, which is the UN-designated temporary border. In return, the Israeli military will withdraw its soldiers from southern Lebanon over a period of 60 days, and this will enable the Lebanese army to send thousands more troops to the area. They'll be responsible for patrolling the border and reporting any complaints to the UN peacekeeping force. The agreement states that Israel and Lebanon are permitted to exercise their right to self-defense. Well, Lebanon's Prime Minister Najib Mikati has spoken publicly for the first time since the ceasefire. He says the people of Lebanon must now unite for the sake of the country.
As far as the painful situation and the dramatic situation of our country, we can only say it is a new day, and we hope that this new day will bring peace and stability. Today, we'll start walking the 1,000-mile journey to rebuild our country and reinforce our institutions, including the army, that we're depending on to be able to protect our country, especially at our southern border.
Well, people have been returning to Beirut's southern suburb, which was the focus of much of the Israeli strikes on the capital. Zain Bazravi is there and has been surveying the damage.
Here in the southern suburbs of Beirut, there is rarely a street that doesn't have massive devastation. In every few streets, there is devastation and destruction. Now, we've been driving around Dahia for some time now, and you see areas where none of the rubble's even been cleared. The pace of Israeli strikes was so intense that there wasn't even time to clear up any of the damage or the devastation. So scenes like this, debris, rubble, damaged vehicles, down almost every street we've been. People are clearing now. They're clearing out broken glass. They're clearing away different bits of their home wherever there is all of this devastation. So if a building wasn't destroyed, the adjacent ones around the destroyed building took a heavy amount of damage. And as you walk through, there is also the reality that people are returning, people are coming back. After the ceasefire was announced, there was an enormous amount of people leaving the areas where they fled Beirut, and they've come back to neighborhoods like this with their belongings to see what's left, to see if they can return home, and to see if they have to rebuild or relocate. Now, this is going to be the case going forward throughout the day. We've been seeing people celebrating by firing into the air, celebratory gunfire, people flying Hezbollah flags, playing songs. At the same time as that joy of the ceasefire happening, there is the very harsh reality that the Israeli campaign, the air campaign, was so violent and so devastating that for many people, they've got nothing left to come back to. And that is the reality here in the southern suburbs of Beirut today. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, Beirut.
You are listening to the Midday News on WinFM 98.9. The headlines:
PAM leader addresses international suggestion for urgent need for tax reform. CARICOM moving forward with arrest warrant and treaty legislation. Credit to private sector in Guyana grows by $150 billion. Internationally, Imran Khan supporters call off protest after crackdown in Pakistan.
Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, National Bank, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. If you need cash in a flash with now, no need to fuss, leave it to us. When you need cash in a flash, no need to fuss, leave it to us. Hear me now. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming.
When life throws surprises your way, Now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip, with Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours.
Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now.
A loan product powered by National Bank.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Ready to bring fresh color and style into your home? It's the Color and Style Savings Event at Hosford Building and Nevis Centers. Right now, get 25% off all paints and tiles store-wide. Transform any room with vibrant paints or refresh your floors with stunning tiles. And with 25% off, there's no better time to give your space that beautiful upgrade. So head to Hosford Building and Nevis Centers and make your dream look a reality with 25% off all paints and tiles for a limited time only. Hurry in and paint, tile, and save today at Hosford's. Terms and conditions apply. It's a very merry triple cashback grab and win at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Thousands of dollars in cashback coupons are up for grabs this triple cashback season. That's right. Every higher purchase customer gets triple cashback on every FlexPay purchase and a chance to grab thousands of dollars in free groceries with our triple cashback grab and win promotion. Imagine this. Free groceries for a whole year or a stylish 4-piece living room set. And that's not all. Every higher purchase customer gets their shot at winning big. Yes, thousands of dollars in cashback coupons for free groceries are up for grabs. It's all happening now at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Stores triple cashback grab and win. Great deals, great prices, and amazing furniture and appliances. At Hortford's, where your holiday dreams come true. See store for details.
Well, it's 12:42. We're back for the second half of Voices. We had a very capable team of agents from the Department of Gender Affairs for the first half. I'm talking about their social media campaign and beyond to combat domestic violence. And so we are back for the second half, brought to you by Hosfords. So we're going to get into it. So this would be a good time for you to send your calls and maybe your comments, if you have any, on any topic, including what happened in the first half. I didn't really get any calls, but the ladies were more interested in laying out their program, especially the activities that they have going on and so on. So if you want to give me a call, feel free. 466-0989 662-0989. So just reminding folks of our erstwhile hosts, Calypso 10th. That's happening at the Meltaway on tomorrow, Thursday. The Meltaway and Walburn Avenue, that's up in the village. And we have our first caller, so we're going to go take that. Caller, go right ahead.
Good day, Jamster.
Hey, what's up?
And blessed in Jesus' name and greetings once more in Jesus' name. Now, I'd like to ask you a question because a lot of people do not know the real answer. But let me ask you a question. When is Christmas?
When is Christmas? Well, it's celebrated on December 25th.
Yes, that's what most people would say. But that is only partly correct. That is just partly correct, because that is just part of Christmas. That is actually when Christmas begins. You know, that is actually when Christmas begins, but it is not all of Christmas.
Yeah, I say that all the
Christmas-
time. And it goes into January 6th.
Right, Christmas is really from December the 25th to January the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That is Christmas. The 25th of December is only the beginning of Christmas. It's the first day of Christmas. The last day is January the 6th, but a lot of people don't know that.
That's interesting. I actually didn't even know that was the beginning of Christmas. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
yeah.
Okay, I know
Yeah.
about the end, but I didn't realize. Okay, that's interesting.
Mm, yeah. And let me say a very important thing as well. Without Christmas, you would not have Easter. Now, I know a lot of people will say it ain't Easter, it's Passover and that sort of stuff. Okay? Really and truly, I prefer to say Crucifixion Friday, Resurrection Sunday. Without Christmas, you would not have Crucifixion Friday and Resurrection Sunday. But I shorten it and I say Easter. And this is how important it is, because the message of Christmas is really about Resurrection Friday. Sorry, about Crucifixion Friday and Resurrection Sunday. That is really the message of Christmas. That Jesus Christ came into this world to save sinners from their sins and from hell. Sinners who were from all eternity predestined by God the Father in Jesus Christ to be saved by the blood of Jesus Christ. This is the message of Christmas, that Jesus came to save those who were predestined in him by the Father from all eternity to be saved by the blood of Jesus Christ, and to be saved from their sins and from hell. And only this message, if you believe it and you trust it and you put your faith in it, that this message is what will save us from our sins and from hell. Okay, Jamster, God bless.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, great. So I learned something today. Christmas actually starts on December 25th. I knew it ends on January 6th, but for some reason I thought, well, okay, the lead up to Christmas, what some denominations call Advent, I thought all of that was the start of Christmas or whatever. Yeah. So let's have your calls, 466-0989 and 662-0989. We have a very, I'm sure we're gonna have a very eventful December ahead, with Carnival and Christmas. And there are always gonna be the conversations, however many conversations about whether Christmas should be separated from Carnival. I know there are the people who feel like it should be, right? Actually, I'm thinking, I just want to make sure he had one. I'm thinking this might be a good time to play Dwyer Astafan's commentary for this week. So I'm just going to download that. And we are going to hear from Dwyer Astafan. In the meantime, there's so many things going on in the world. We're getting ready for the second term of Donald Trump. Everyone is wondering what 2025 will bring as far as the economy and so on. The fact that our citizenship by investment program may have the income may have fallen off a cliff compared to other years. all of these are things that we have to think about. We had Troy Flanders on this morning on the Farm Report. He was talking about a sort of alternate approach to the Tabasco agreement that is that the government will be embarking on. And he raised the question of, well, why can't we grow our own peppers and come up with our very own brand of pepper sauce? And I thought that was actually a pretty good idea. I mean, we have to be. I mean, on good faith, I would say, okay, probably the Tabasco agreement that the government has entered with McKillany, on the surface seems like a good idea. But I thought Troy made a very good point. Why can't we do our own peppers and have our own, our own signature pepper sauce, just like Tabasco? Because, like I was telling Troy this morning, Tabasco is actually a Mexican state, a state in Mexico where a particular pepper grows, particular type of pepper grows, and that's where the American company McKillany took the name for their famous hot sauce from. Carlo, go right ahead.
Yeah, Trevor, it's me again.
Mm-hmm.
This song, the 12 Days of Christmas, this I should have mentioned as well, the 12 Days of Christmas. A lot of people think that the 12 Days of Christmas start 12 days before Christmas. That's what a lot of people think, and lead up to December the 25th as the last day of Christmas. When actually, no, it is the other way around. The 12 days of Christmas, and take note of the name, the 12 days of Christmas, not the one day of Christmas. A lot of people think, like I said, it's just one day, but the song ain't about, it didn't say the one day of Christmas, it said the 12 days of Christmas. And the 12 days, you start counting from December the 25th, leads you down to January the 6th. Those are the 12 days of Christmas. Christmas is 12 days, not the one day of Christmas.
Okay.
Another thing you mentioned about Trump and the economy and that sort of stuff. Let me say this. Neither Trump, nor Biden, nor Harris, or anybody else can fix the issues and problems unless we do things the Bible way. A lot of people are going to get a rude awakening who think Trump is going to solve whatever. Trump ain't able to solve anything unless he do things the Bible way. And that is true of everybody else. We are not able to solve things unless we do things the Bible way. As a matter of fact, a lot of the problem with the Biden economy ain't just started with Biden. I would say Biden helped to make them worse, but it ain't started with Biden. Trump also contributed to the problem with the Biden economy. Obama did, Clinton did. You see, a lot of us do not realize is that a lot of stuff that we do, you don't see the full effects immediately. Sometimes you see the full effects years afterwards. And that is when the full effects start to kick in. So, things like Trump trade war with China, increasing the tariff and lumber coming from Canada, and those sort of stuff. And even his fight against immigration and those sort of stuff helped to contribute negatively to the American economy, which, like I said, a lot of the negative effects had kicked in during the Biden economy. And like I said, Biden helped make it worse with his additional unbiblical policies. So it's going. A lot of people going to be disappointed to think Trump is going to solve the issue. None of them could solve unless they repent and start to do things the biblical way. Otherwise, Other than that, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. To our destruction and peril, to hardship in life, and all sort of stuff, which is going to spell very great disaster for us all. Because we refuse to do things the Bible way. We disobey the Bible to our destruction, ruin, and undoing, and peril. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Gregory. Gregory is tireless. Okay, Gregory. What can I say? You are a tireless, tireless proselytizer, right? For God and the Bible and all of that. It's kind of hard to be doing that in the face of people who probably just roll their eyes and they're like, oh, here he goes again, Okay, I'm just trying to get Dwyer's commentary here. Okay, I think we are ready. So let's hear what he has to say. 3 minutes to go until 1 o'clock. I was downloading it. That's what I was actually doing. So here we go.
Greetings. It is very sad that after all of these years, after all of these decades and even centuries, we human beings still, generally speaking, seem unable to engage each other in a reasonable, logical discussion or debate. It seems that we cannot help ourselves from injecting or from allowing someone to inject into our minds some distraction or another, or become otherwise overwhelmed by emotion and bias. And when emotion and bias get the better of the facts, then reason and the truth cannot win. When that happens, we cannot win. Indeed, we end up in a situation that is contrary to our best interests. When emotion and bias take over reason, we lose. Yet we continue. Sometimes that distraction comes in the form of us trying to attack the messenger, rather than focusing our attention on the issues, and with clear and uninterrupted intellect and conscience, try to reach the truth. And let me further suggest that try as we may try, distract as we may distract, and distracted as we may be distracted, none of that can erase the facts and the truth. We may wish to act like the proverbial ostrich, which instead of staring the facts in the face, chose to bury its head in the sand, thereby exposing itself to grave danger, as the facts, the truth, slammed into its tender nether parts. If you get my drift, facing the consequences of the truth is always better than facing the consequences of ducking from or denying the truth. As the good book says, the truth shall set you free. Only the truth. A man can never be liberated by a lie or by a delusion of the truth. It has to be the truth. And I say all of this by way of introduction of today's commentary, which will be on the CBI issues that we now face. Here are the facts. Here is the truth. If I am wrong, correct me. 1. The Timothy Harris administration granted Galaxy authority to sell 5,500 CBI units, which according to law were to be sold at a minimum of $175,000 each, which could raise a potential $952 million. That's $2.5 billion EC dollars. Now, this is for a project that should not cost in total more than $150 million. Many, maybe most, maybe even all of those 5,500 units were sold at discounted prices. In other words, below the legal minimum. Although applicants were made to sign declarations that they were in fact paying the $175,000. The law requires you pay $175,000 minimum. And under the law, false statements by applicants can result in denial of the application and revocation of their citizenship. No denial has ever come from the Harris administration or from the present administration that underselling took place. Indeed, it has been admitted in a court of law that underselling had taken place. And one former government official told me that the government was concerned with getting its fees and did not involve itself in the details of private transactions. That shocked me, especially coming from an official of the government, which was and is the regulator of the CBI. Next, no escrow provisions were included in that Galaxy Jail arrangement. The only CBI regulation that did not have escrow arrangements. That is conspicuous. You should ask why. The answer is that the former administration chose, this was not by accident, they chose not to tightly monitor the project. And who do governments act for? They act for the people, for the best interest of the people. So you must ask Dr. Harris and his colleagues of the former administration, why did that particular regulation not include escrow arrangements? He wants to come back and be your prime minister, but he failed to defend you in that critical moment. And while some people are up and down laughing, bank accounts stuffed with money, what do you have? Ask him about it. So applications were made to Galaxy, not to the government. And the money was paid to Galaxy, not to the government. And nearly all of the money remained outside of St. Kitts and Nevis, did not come into our economy so that you could have access for capital projects, for development, for other things. Ask them about it. Galaxy in that project and under those particular regulations, and in all regulations, was required also to maximize local employment. They didn't even bother with that. And neither the former government nor the present one properly policed that aspect of the project. Your humble servant has been speaking publicly about CBI matters for many years, including Galaxy matters over the last 6 to 7 years. Some of you believed that what I was saying made sense and was true, while others dismissed what I was saying as nonsense. And still others dismissed me. They did not like the messenger, so they dismissed the message, giving no consideration to the message, which, if true, was not only in their interest to know, but should have prodded them to take action to protect themselves and protect the integrity, honor, and good name of this country. That is when you get distracted from the message, whether you're by your own design or others, simply because you do not like the messenger. Then came Philip Martinez of MSR Media, and he started probing, and he started to present information which not only corroborated what I had been saying, but he added mountains upon mountains of additional information that is not only worthy, but is absolutely necessary for the consideration of serious, responsible citizens and patriots of this country. Mr. Martinez brought to the table for national discussion some extremely serious matters, matters that have been a source of concern and or anger among some of us. So much so that artificial intelligence has now been engaged in a robust campaign to discredit him, and of course myself, has been launched. Although I am yet to hear any plausible denial of anything that he or I have claimed. He has been accused of being a fraudster. Well, my question is, if you know he's a fraudster, why not tell the public the whole story about his, let me make up a word, fraudsterism? And another question, why did you business with him? You signed an agreement with him November the 13th, 2023. And while you're pointing a finger at him, are there any fraudsters among CBI service providers, developers, and others who are still being allowed to ply their fraud against the people of this country? In this Galaxy Jail story, some people made between 1 million EC and over 50 million EC. That is a fact. What did you get? The jail project had the capacity to raise over $2.5 billion EC dollars. If they kept to the law and they raised that money, having sold all of the units, you should have gotten at least 700 million US dollars, which is close to 2 billion EC dollars. What have you gotten? Is the $1,000 Aspire thing enough? Is the dividend enough? What do you have What will you buy your family for Christmas? Are you paying on your home? What do you have? And what do they have? While those people brought shame to your patrimony and mongrelized our programs, and while they laughed all the way to the bank, and are still laughing, although with a little bit of concern, because they don't know what's going to come next. What did you get? Yet you are busy. You are busy. Having been deprived of what is yours, you are busy pointing fingers at the messenger and forgetting that the message shows that it is you who have been screwed, and that it is Martinez, in his imperfection, who has helped to shed the light on the fact that you have been screwed. You want to kill the messenger who has brought a message to show you that you have been screwed. Not only you have been screwed, but with that attitude, it reflects that maybe some of you are screwed up. My core interest is the well-being of our people. My public life shows that clearly. It also shows that I have tried and continue to try unyieldingly to seek and to abide by the truth, and that I speak truth to power. I don't take sides when it comes to that, regardless of who is on which side, and regardless of his or her sins. I'm a sinner too. Saul became Paul. Mary Magdalene was Jesus' right hand. All of us are sinners. Let the current administration tell you if Mr. Martinez failed the due diligence standards. And if so, why did they sign an agreement with him on November 13, 2023? I'm not here to defend him. I'm here to find and tell the truth. And I know that people shoot the messenger when the message worries them. Yet shooting the messenger seldom stops the truth from flowing like a river in a torrent. Remember what they did with Jesus in order to kill his message. It failed miserably. Remember they tried to silence Mandela by putting him away in a jail for 27 years. Yet he walked out on his own terms and became president of South Africa. Uncompromised, unblemished. The point is, when you try to shoot the messenger, more often than not, the message gets stronger, especially if it is the right message. So all you go ahead. And as you shoot the messenger, remember, what you have gotten out of this Galaxy jail deal or any other is next to zero. And ask yourselves if you want to allow yourselves and your children to continue getting screwed. Meanwhile, you're pointing fingers at people. Your pockets empty, your bank account empty, and have little or nothing for yourself, although you have been screwed. You're protecting the screwers. Meanwhile, and I'm not trying to be melodramatic or self-indulgent, I've been advised to be very careful with my own safety because I might have offended the Chinese authorities. You know, China is behind all of these projects, and the Chinese government is using the CBI in these islands as this version of their Belt and Road model to colonize and take control of as many countries in the world as they can. Influence the decision makers, and you influence the destiny of the country. So you all go ahead and shoot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and that was Dwight Stefan's brand new commentary. Those usually street, well, they tend to go to E on Wednesdays, so he usually has them ready the day before. So this is a good time for me to go take a break, and we come back and we start the conversation in earnest, because I'm sure that commentary would have probably generated some interest and some thoughts. I have a few comments there which I'll read when I come back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Fat days are just around the corner this December, but why wait? Come now to Hosworths. Get pre-approved credit today for the biggest fat days on December 13th and 21st. That's right. Visit Hosworths Building and Nevis Centers, Furniture and Appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, and even Hosworths Auto Sales to get pre-approved credit for all your VAT day dreams. Want a brand new living room set? Need a brand new stove? Or maybe you're eyeing a shiny new car? Get in now to lock in pre-approved on our lowest interest rates ever on brand new vehicles. Just make your way to any Hosford's location, create your VAT Day wish list, and we'll handle the credit check. Then come back in December and get everything you picked out with your pre-approved credit. Hosford's is here to make VAT Days easy and exciting. Pre-approved credit now for VAT Days in December. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Hosford's today for all the details. St. Kitts and Nevis, are you ready for the biggest auto sales event of the year? It's the Hosford's Automotive No Time Like Now sales event, and we're pulling out all the stops. Buy now and drive away with up to $17,000 off selected models. That's right, $17,000 off. Finance with us and enjoy zero down payment, the lowest interest rates ever, a free bill of sale, and reduced interest rates.
But wait, there's more. All customers get your choice of free gas or free groceries, plus free registration, accessories, tinting, licensing, and free servicing for 1 year.
Mark your calendars for VAT Days, December 13th and 21st. Don't miss your chance to grab these incredible deals and make this holiday season one to remember. Hosford's Automotive, your road to saving starts here.
Hurry to Hosford's Automotive, where there's no time like now to get behind the wheel of your dream car.
Terms and conditions apply.
SL Hosford and Company at the Caribou says to mark the date as Thursday, November 28th, you pay nothing at the gate when the Legends Calypso Tent returns to the Meltaway in Buckley site. It was so nice, we're doing it twice. On stage, Lady Diva, Empress Lyrics, The Undertaker, The Ijo, The Invincible, Lady Correct, Westside, Lady Legacy, Lucius, Alamolu, Taz, Reiko, and more. Master of Ceremonies, The Cutter, live and direct at the Meltaway. See you there.
She wake it up from the graveyard.
So I am back, and let me read some comments here. There's some comments coming off of my airing of Dwight Asafan's new commentary. So let me get right into it. Burl says, first comment, he said, "Oh, thanks, Jamster, for playing this Dwight Asafan commentary, and the people of SKN have to wake up. All politicians to blame. They need to resign, go to jail, and bad from running again." That's what that commenter says. That's Burl. Here's another one from Burl. This MSR saga has our country hijacked. The government of the day is totally distracted and seems incompetent to find a solution and pull the country out from underneath this dark cloud. In my humble opinion, the people need to put aside the party politics and mobilize and go into the streets and demand fresh elections so they can put confident people in to pull the nation from underneath this dark cloud and move the country forward. And where is our AG? And where are these persons? Just give me a sec, caller. There's just about 4 more lines to read. And where are these persons that were talking about the previous administration? The scandals. What about this scandal? Now it's the biggest ever. Caller, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Jamster.
Hey, what's up?
This is the guy so asked you to give to the war with Israel, but I didn't get it. I mean, they promised that they're going to tell me to bring these CDs to see if we could run off the one about Israel. But what I want to say is this, that Dwight Asapan are coming with his reports. We are just listening and brushing them off. But all it can be fake. Some of it, some truth in it. And we got to start to take warning as poor people. because the politicians are using us and laughing to the bank. All of them. Look, the only politicians, or two, I can say two, that did something to sink its people is Kennedy Simmons and Mr. Harris. Well, Mr. Harris' name coming up in things. But let me say this. All of the work that Kennedy Simmons did, he being ridiculed. But let me say this. Do you know that every one of the projects that he invent, the young people is getting work from it? The young people who didn't born when he invent those things, they're now getting word from them. Harris come, and Harris did what he had to do. He only lasted 7 years. I'm not saying that he was all perfect and good. The modern one, the one that is there, they're there for 2 years. And when you look around, all we getting is promises. Mr. Estefan are talking to us for a while. And I think we need to listen. We think we need to listen because what I'm finding out is that the present ones, they are not getting any answer. All they're giving is long talk, no answer. And it's everybody who is wondering what's going on. And somewhere we need the truth. Thank you. And I don't want you to I want you to give me still give me the one with the Israel business. Could I have it? I know you tried to say you sent it twice, but I didn't get it. Could I get it on a CD?
A CD, that might be, boy, so that means I have to.
I'll bring the CD. I'll bring the CD.
No, I mean I have to bring my burner and all that. I don't even know if this. Yeah, I'll see what I could do.
Could I keep in touch with you?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I just try to call you sometimes, but I don't get the answer. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, great.
Citizens listen. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's that caller. Weighing in on that. So, yeah, we have various people weighing in on some of the issues affecting the country, and we have varying degrees of engagement, interest, and let's say, engagement and interest from people, because some things, no matter how dire the implications for the country, some things are just not sexy, so people don't really care about them. They'll just ignore stuff. And then sometimes this is why sometimes you have these shows and the silliest of things are, or sometimes in my estimation, the least important of the issues that should be addressed and should be discussed are the ones that resonate with people. And usually sometimes the least interesting stuff is just the stuff that is more salacious and so on. I don't know if salaciousness and high interest are the same. I don't know, because something could be very sensational but just not really interesting. It's just sensational because of maybe some of the particulars of that apply. Which, I mean, it's like, for example, yesterday I was talking about this Brazilian porn star who has an OnlyFans channel, and you would not believe who the director and the videographer is. Her son, her 19-year-old son. Now, I guess that's interesting to some people. The salaciousness of that is what attracts a lot of people. But for me, I'm like, yeah, it's mildly interesting in the sense that who does that? A 37-year-old porn star with her 19-year-old son is seeing her have sex with multiple partners all at the same time. I'm not even talking about separate. He's the director. He said he tells what the position. So what I'm saying is, these are the kinds of things that interest people. Although these things you could say in a larger context are really not that important, except to say, well, you can use it as an argument for or evidence of the moral decay of civilization and society and all of that. But I'm thinking, yeah, it's a pretty bonkers thing, but it's probably not as important as let's say the fact that St. Kitts Nevis as a small island the developing state is in an extremely vulnerable position, and all the things that come out of that. So that stuff isn't sexy, but the other crazy stuff is sexy. I just thought I'd muse on that, get it out of my system. Voices, go right ahead.
Hey, Jamster, what's up, man?
I'm
Good to
cool.
see you, man.
I'm cool.
Yeah, the people, the ladies, I must say, they're asking for that Grandmaster song, man. I guess they like the message, the under message.
I guess you're bearing out what I was just talking about.
What happened, man?
You are part of the problem.
A friend of mine put me onto that song, man. Yo, it's carnival time, man. I can't even get to put the politics behind. You know what I mean? It's sickening to hear all of this stuff happening in St. Kitts Nevis, bro. I want to support Flyers commentary, and I want to support that caller that just called in. It's simple, man. A lot of money got collected through that CBI. Only certain people's pockets got fattened up. And the money did not get down to the working class. It's either two things was going to happen, should have happened to that money. Redevelopment into the country or to the people as a dividend. Some of it had to go to the people as a dividend. And now the people are just left outside, man. And just like the guy says, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, they got to wake up. So the politicians squander off the money, and then now we, the citizens, got to suffer. We got to suffer because they're going to raise taxes and all this stuff they're raising, and they're raising all the utility bills. Property taxes is going to be raised up in January in Nevis. So they're going to come back and take it out on us. The people got to put aside party politics and show the politicians that we the people got the power in our hands. In our hands. In my humble opinion, bro, this would be a time where the people got to mobilize, put aside that party politics and come together and show the politicians now that they really screwed up our money, bro, and put the pressure on them. We shouldn't have to wait for 3 more years to go through the same SHID for 3 more years. And the people, they got to know that they're capable of doing that. They are capable of breaking this government. If that pressure amounts in the street, I'm saying go in the street peacefully now. But all of those persons that be talking back and forth, party against party, they got to put that aside because that's what the politicians are using against the people. The politicians are putting the people against each other. For one moment, all of the people, the majority of the people, should come together. And if they do, they definitely will break this government because this seems very incompetent. They cannot get this MSR saga. They cannot get the solutions to this issue. So the country is going to go into the new year under a dark cloud. The whole of this year is already gone, bro, and we see how distracted they were for the whole of this year. But that's my humble comments right now, and I wait, man. I wait. A lot of people, they're getting offended by my comments and stuff like that, but I really don't care. I stand firm in what I believe in, right over wrong. I don't condone wrong. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We must respect each other's opinions and views, no matter what. We got to mature so that the betterment of the country can come out, country above self.
Okay.
But this prime minister had a chance to make a difference, and he didn't. That's the bottom line. Thanks a lot, man. You have a good day, bro.
Great.
And it's carnival, baby.
Okay.
All right, man. Yeah,
Okay.
enjoy.
Yeah, you too. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. Just reminding you of the Legends tent. That our host is the band leader of the Legends band. The tent moves to the Meltaway tomorrow. That's on Walwyn Avenue. Give this ad a listen, and we'll also hear from Hosford.
Found the sound 98.9
SL Hudson and Company and the Caribou says to mark the date as Thursday, November 28th, you pay nothing at the gate when the Legends Calypso Tent returns to the Meltaway in Buckley site. It was so nice, we're doing it twice. On stage, Lady Diva, Empress Lyrics, The Undertaker, The Ijo, The Invincible, Lady Correct, Website, Lady Legacy, Lucius, Alamolu, Taz, Reiko, and more. Master of Ceremonies, The Cutter, live and direct at the Meltaway. See you there.
She wake it up from the graveyard.
Ready to bring fresh color and style into your home? It's the Color and Style Savings Event at Hosford Building and Nevis Centers. Right now, get 25% off all paints and tiles store-wide. Transform any room with vibrant paints or refresh your floors with stunning tiles. And with 25% off, there's no better time to give your space that beautiful upgrade. So head to Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers and make your dream look a reality with 25% off all paints and tiles for a limited time only. Hurry in and paint, tile, and save today at Hosford's. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a very merry triple cashback grab and win at Horchford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Thousands of dollars in cashback coupons are up for grabs this triple cashback season. That's right. Every hire purchase customer gets triple cashback on every FlexPay purchase and a chance to grab thousands of dollars in free groceries with our triple cashback grab and win promotion. Imagine this. Free groceries for a whole year or a stylish 4-piece living room set.
And that's not all.
Every hire purchase customer gets their shot at winning big. Yes, thousands of dollars in cashback coupons for free groceries are up for grabs. It's all happening now at Horchford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Stores. Triple cashback grab and win. Great deals, great prices, and amazing furniture and appliances. And Horchford's, where your holiday dreams come true. See store for details.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left, and we got someone on the line here. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, yeah. Jumpster. Just give me like 10 seconds, man. Real quickly. One thing I wanted to mention lastly is the guy Eden Burrow. Eden Burrow played a clip with Martinez on top of his show Sunday on Freedom FM, right? And me, I'm hearing that clip might have been AI doctored. And indeed, Dwight Estefan just referred to something. He referred to that just now in that commentary. So I'm calling on the management over at Freedom FM to authenticate that tape and come back to the public and let us know if that was AI or not. And that's my last thing I wanted to say, man. And thanks a lot, man. Enjoy your week.
Okay,
Enjoy
great.
your rest of your week, man.
I will.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, great. And just letting people know that there are tools. This is gonna sound kind of rude, but one of the problems I have is, right, people have all this technology at their fingertips, and somehow they never seem to know or never seem to think about searching for the things that they should be searching for. There are tools you can get off of the Android store or off of the Apple store that can tell you if something has been doctored by AI. Yes, there are things for that. So I think it behooves a lot of people to be careful about what you see. You have an expensive slab of technology in your hand, a phone. Might be a good idea to not spend most of your time doing stuff that doesn't really edify, doesn't really educate. and doesn't make you, I want to say, a better person. I don't know, maybe that's too strong, but that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. So it's important that when we're consuming news, here's one of the things you guys should think about is, yes, there are tools you can install on your device that will let you know if you're unsure about something. You may not even have to actively search. As long as you have it installed, it might tell you, this has maybe this. There's some AI, let's say, doctoring going on with this particular piece of media you're consuming or whatever. I'm just saying. I always say, when I was in high school, there was no internet and all that. Well, there was internet, but, the internet wasn't as widespread as it is now. It was just scientists and stuff who had access to what we now consider the internet. But it's amazing, back then, I feel like, this is probably going to upset some people, but I feel like people knew more. People were probably more well-rounded as far as knowing what was going on in the world and knowing stuff. And now you have people walking around with phones, and yet they know nothing. And it never occurs to them, oh, Google is your friend. Wikipedia is your friend. Bing is your friend. I can go to the online, I don't know. Hey, maybe I should watch some news. You know what I'm saying? Maybe do some online reading, but none of that seems to resonate with people. People are spending $3,000-$4,000 on a phone, $600 on a phone, $1,000 on a phone, $300 on a phone, not realizing that the power of that device far outstrips what you spent to get it, and you always have at your fingertips the opportunity to inform yourself, educate yourself, improve yourself. But most people don't really care about that. It's like you heard the lady this morning talking about on the Shania from Gender Affairs, talking about how it never occurs to some women to just maybe do a Google search and why is my boyfriend angry all the time, or why is my husband hitting me, and why might this be a thing? I mean, come on, really? Okay. Maybe I'm sounding a little harsh, but I'm gonna close it down now. It's at 1:33, so I'm basically on my soapbox and well into overtime. So, on behalf of the sponsor of this half, Hosford's, and sponsors of the first half, that's gonna do it for Voices today. I will be back tomorrow for Island Tea, and so I wish you guys a great afternoon. Bye.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
SL Hudson and Company at the Caribou says to mark the date as Thursday, November 28th, you pay nothing at the gate when the legends Calypso 10